This girl on TikTok said if she's still coming around, he's still entertaining her. A car doesn't travel unless you put gas in it. I love TikTok.
Welcome to The Wall. In today's video, we'll see an outraged woman because her husband cut off her allowance after she did nothing for him at home. We'll also explore the struggle of several modern women in the dating world, some battling with having too much money and others chasing chads on dating apps. We want you to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. We're chasing 150,000 subscribers before the end of the year. Thanks to everyone who supports the project with their super chats and shares their experiences in the comments. That's what helps this community grow. Turn on notifications so you don't miss a single video. Now, let's get started.
We women have to be honest with ourselves about a few things, which is, right now, women, if you make a certain amount of money, we do not date men that do not make the same amount of money or more than us. Women on average actually do not want to. And so we have this conundrum where if women are making more, men are making the same, and in some instances less, what happens to the dating pool? And so I think women, if we're going to make more money, we got to start saying, it doesn't really matter if our partner makes the same amount of money. I mean, Chris, my husband, was a Navy SEAL. Spoiler, the government doesn't pay well. So I made more than he did in the beginning, but his compass was never money. His compass was service and excellence. Your bank account has no ability to hurt a man one way or the other. But if you make him feel less than for the amount of money that he's making, even not on purpose, I'm sure she's lovely, then certainly you can. But I think that's where women get it wrong. We're like, he doesn't want to date me because I'm too rich. I have never in my life met a guy that goes, the thing is, she's got too much cash. Fuck that broad. Like that doesn't happen. You know, what happens is I feel less than with her because she makes so much money.
She has a point. A relationship usually works better when the man earns more money than the woman. It's not about control, it's about leadership. When the man leads, the relationship flows naturally. But when the woman earns more, the dynamic changes. Not all, but many women with money tend to have a more difficult character to handle. And if some are already difficult without money, imagine them with a full bank account. Another problem is the so-called social standards. For ages, the idea has been sold that women should look for a man who is superior to them. The issue is that the higher a woman climbs, the fewer men there are above her. And the men at the top aren't looking for equals. They seek women who are a couple of steps below them, not above. Moreover, many men aren't intimidated by a woman's money, but they do know that more money often means more demands. She wants to maintain her lifestyle, and if you can't support it, you're out. Lastly, there's the biological factor. If she's making $120,000 a year and you're only making $30,000, how can you ask her to leave her career to have kids? It doesn't make sense. She won't leave her job, she won't change her lifestyle, and you won't be able to compensate for it. That's why many of these women end up single, not because they can't find a man, but because they're not willing to give up ground. And in the dating market, that inflexibility comes at a high price.
So my fucking husband decided to cut me off. And by cut off, I mean cut off my fucking allowance.
And I wonder why.
So my husband usually gives me $75 a week, $100 on a good day. I had asked him if he could raise it up a little bit, and he told me that he's just gonna cut me off completely. And I'm like, excuse me? Like, why are you gonna cut me off for? I deserve my fucking allowance. Like, why are you not going to give me my allowance?
But why do you deserve this allowance? Because obviously he took it for a reason. So that means you're not doing your job, because that's what allowances are for. People that's doing their job. A good one at that.
His excuse was that I don't do nothing around the house. He said, you don't cook, you don't clean, I have to wash my own clothes. What do you expect? Why are you expecting money from me?
Oh, good point. The least your ass could do is be a great ass housewife. If he going out there get the bag and you staying at home, that's your job, because you don't work a 9 to 5. So I wouldn't pay your ass either if you ain't doing shit.
And I'm like, I take care of your children. I take care of them. So I deserve that little bit of $75 a week that I fucking was getting.
Hold up. Ain't them your kids too?
Then he has the audacity to tell me, oh, I'll give you $25 a week. Like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with that? I can't do shit. So now I told him, since you're not going to give me my allowance, then go find the kids a babysitter. And you're going to have to pay way more money for a babysitter than just giving me my fucking allowance.
And while he looking up for that babysitter, he need to be looking up a divorce attorney, because your ass don't sound like you too much of a wife.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
With women like this, it's easier to stay single. I'd rather pay child support than have to put up with such an unhealthy dynamic. These women complain about having to do something for the man, but they still expect him to put food on the table, take care of the home, fix anything that breaks, pay for their medical bills, and cover their personal expenses. The double standard is unbelievable. But of course, according to feminists, doing laundry for your husband or cooking for him makes you a slave. And the child? He's her child too, so she should at least take care of him. This whole, don't do anything for the man, propaganda is what's ruining the dynamics of modern marriages. Then they criticize the man, calling him abusive or insensitive, when they themselves create the environment that makes him want to leave. That husband did the right thing by cutting off her allowance. If she doesn't contribute, she should at least work to cover her share. Paying for a babysitter would be more practical than maintaining her while she does absolutely nothing.
It's funny because it's true.
Hot take, but it is 100% okay for you to go for a man that has a girlfriend. No, be so fucking for real right now. If this man has a girlfriend and you are attracted to him, it is your job to steer clear away from him, okay? I saw something on my For You page being like, oh, what do? I'm attracted to this guy, but he has a girlfriend. You should not be doing anything besides getting rid of your feelings for him. This situation literally happened to me, except it was the ex-girlfriend trying to slide into his DMs and being like, hey, let's get back together, like... First of all, you know he's in a relationship. Anytime somebody's in a relationship, I'm like, ew, gross, stay away from me. I feel like it's always the girls that preach about being a girl's girl until it no longer serves them. And if you think that you can steal this man, what makes you think that he's not gonna do the same thing to you? I also think it's a little bit crazy to be preying on a relationship's downfall just so that you can have a chance with them. Also, side note, this blush is giving sunburnt in the best way possible. It's so cute. Last piece of advice for if you are interested in someone with a girlfriend, keep that shit to yourself. Keep it to yourself, please. Don't tell anyone. This is the final look.
A woman's worst enemy will always be another woman. Pre-selection is real. When a man is chosen as a partner by one woman, he automatically becomes more attractive to others. Why? First, because the forbidden always draws attention. Second, because he has already passed the entry barriers that a woman sets, which makes another woman see him as a potential partner. It's pure competition instinct. Women don't have friends, they have rivals. Many want another woman's man simply for the thrill of taking him away. It's so common that some men wear engagement rings in bars to attract women, and it works. Seeing a man as another woman's man excites them because it validates their emotional value in being able to win him over. That's why I always say, a woman is an emotional being. If she feels strong attraction toward a man, it doesn't matter if he has a girlfriend or wife. She will look for a way to be with him. This isn't a written rule, but it happens more often than people admit. The pre-selection instinct takes over, leading them to compete for what's already taken.
Date time, story time. So I went on a date with this guy recently from Hinge. Been speaking for about a week. So much banter, so much fun. The only time we would actually break to stop speaking was when we went to sleep. He would text me back within 2 minutes or an hour, depending on how busy he was, which I really appreciated because I do feel like there's a lot of game playing sometimes and people can be a bit like, wait 5 hours to text you back. So it was like really back. Worth pointing out that he was 32 and I was 35. There was a bit of banter back and forth about my age. He joked several times that I was a cougar. Considering I am a little bit older, I don't really love that. So didn't make a big deal of it. Just said, hey, you're going to give me a complex. And then he stopped with the 35-year-old jokes. We arranged to meet up. Obviously, I was like deciding what to wear. I was getting so excited because I've been speaking to him for a week. And I was really excited to meet this guy who I felt could potentially be something. Get on the date. I arrive and he looks a hell of a lot younger than he does in his pictures. So I said to him, considering you're 33, you do still have a bit of a baby face. Laughed it off, didn't really think anything of it. The date progressed. We were talking for probably about an hour. He came across very arrogant in the way that he spoke about other girls and other dates. He did appear younger than he did on WhatsApp. But I had texted my friend and just said, look, I'm here safe. Seems like a nice enough guy. Not really what I thought he would be based on like the WhatsApp chat that we had, but having a great time. And obviously I want to get to know him. I've only been here an hour. He goes to the bathroom, comes back from the bathroom and proceeds to sit down and say, I'm not feeling this. I'm going to go. And because we'd obviously had a bit of banter back and forth and we had been for a week, I was like, huh, are you joking? And he was like, no, absolutely not. I really don't appreciate your baby face comment. I'm actually really annoyed about it. There's a few other things as well, but this isn't going anywhere, so I'm going. Bearing in mind, we're sat on a line of tail, like a big long bar. So there's like people either side of us, and the bartender was here. Everybody could hear all of this. And I said to him, I was like, hey, I'd really like to understand what it was that I did to upset you. I said, the baby face comment was just in jest. Obviously, we've been joking about age, and surely it's not a bad.
For a first date, a bar isn't the most recommended place. Loud music, lots of people, and alcohol aren't the best conditions for a good conversation. It's better to prioritize a place where you can connect and get to know the other person. Small coffee shops are usually ideal, nothing from fast food chains. Look for something cozy. Google can help you find the perfect spot. As for everything else, men shouldn't take everything as an insult unless it really is one. In this case, it seems more like a display of insecurity on his part. Comments like baby face aren't a big deal. In fact, many would prefer to look young rather than older. But of course, everyone handles their insecurities differently. Let's continue.
I think you've got a baby face, like nobody wants to look old. Tried to kind of get some communication out of him. He wasn't interested. He was just like, no, I'm going. And then he just got up and left me in the middle of the bar in London. Bearing in mind, I had travelled all the way to London from Essex to be there. Spent £25 on the train to get there. And he just got up and left me in the middle of the bar, completely on my own. Didn't text me once to ask if I'd got home safe. Was so rude. I was mortified. And of course, anybody that suffers with low self-esteem issues, even though it was absolutely him and his pride that I clearly hurt when I said about the baby face, because of my self-esteem issues, I go in on myself and I keep thinking it's me. What did I do wrong? Like I did something. And I need to tell you girls, stop it. Because I got myself in such a tears because I thought that I'd done something really wrong. When actually what I did do when he turned around and said that he was upset about that was I tried to understand how it was that I hurt him. I profusely apologised and he still didn't give a fuck. And I'm sorry, but if you can't take banter, but you can dish it out to me, how is that fair? So easy to go in on yourself, but really you have to think about this person and what they're going through. Obviously he sat there and he chewed on this comment because I said it right from the beginning when we first arrived, and then he sat there on it for an hour, went to the bathroom and then came back and proceeded to do that. No matter what, if you're not feeling it on a date, I absolutely am not disputing that. I completely understand that. Make an excuse and say you've got to get up early or whatever, but say thanks for a lovely evening, it was great to get to know you or whatever. But don't abandon someone in the middle of a bar and then to not even have the decency, the common decency, especially with the world the way it is today, to text that person, especially as a woman, to message and just say, hey, I really hope that you got home safe. If you are treated like that, don't ever think that this is anything that you did or anything that you could have done to avoid. And because it is slim pickings out there, I felt the need to really be like, oh my God, what is it that I did? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Because you have that scarcity mindset where it's like, oh my God, it's taken forever for me to get on this date. He's actually quite nice. Like, what if I don't get somebody else? It's not the way forward. Like, we need to realize that we deserve better. We deserve common fucking decency on a date. Like, we're all out here trying to find somebody, trying to meet somebody. And I just think people in this day and age are just so unbelievably rude. And to anybody else who's going through it on Hinge, fucking hell, it's hard out there. I admire anybody who's out there in the dating scene right now. And I just want to be honest about some of the experiences that I've had. But that was up there with the worst for sure. And just remember that it is not a reflection of you at all. So, I see you. I feel you.
Damn!
It seems that man was simply looking for an excuse to get out of the situation. Most likely, he wasn't that into you, or you didn't look like your photos. He tried to find a way to reject you without coming off as the bad guy. The sudden change after going to the bathroom gives it away. He probably sent a message to a friend or thought, this girl isn't for me. How do I get out of here without causing drama? That's when he latched onto the baby face comment, pretending to be offended so he could leave without you making a scene. The problem with dating apps, especially for women who are on the wall, is that every date feels like a gamble for a relationship with potential. That increases the pressure and makes rejections hit harder. If things aren't going well for you on the apps, maybe you should consider looking for an average man. Not the one with the flashiest photo, but the one with a good description, even if his appearance is simpler. You'll have better chances with someone who's looking for something real than with a Chad surrounded by options. We've reached the end of the video, but before we go, here are some questions for you. Why do you think businesswomen or women who earn a lot of money struggle so much in the dating scene? What do you think went wrong on the date? If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Your support means the world to us and motivates us to create more content. Stay tuned for the next exciting video from The Wall.